I'm always talking to parents about this concept that imbalances are not random, and injuries and pain are never sudden. And so it's really interesting. So give you a prime example. This week, my landscape guy was out doing some work, mowing the property, and he's like, "Hey man, I think you have a leak out here." You know, and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he said this particular spot in your drainage area is one spot. It's been, has been wet, for the past 2 times I've mowed." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I called up the water company and I said, "Hey, listen, I got a leak out here somewhere. I don't know where it's at." I said, "My landscape guy just noticed a spot in the ditch, that's in the drainage ditch that's close to the road, that's been wet, And so she said, "Okay." Well, she's like, "Well, let's check your water usage." I said, "Okay." And she goes, "Do you know what your normal water usage is?" I said, "No, this is on auto draft. I don't even pay attention to it." And she goes, "Well, it's normally around 2,000 gallons per month." I said, "Okay, cool." She says, "Do you want to know what your water usage is for this month?" And I said, "Yes, I'm afraid, but yes, I want to know." And she said it's 4,400. And I'm like, wow. So she goes, have you guys done anything different or picked up, water usage? And I'm like, shit, the only thing my wife has been doing is, doing some tie-dye shirts, right? Like, I hope that wasn't 2,200 gallons worth of tie-dye going on over here, right? I said, no, we haven't done anything, different. And she goes, "Well, listen, you have a leak somewhere, right?" And so, anyway, so called a plumber out, come out, and sure enough, it took him an hour. He found this leak. It was a very small leak. There was a leak on the meter side, so I had 2 leaks. One that was close to the meter that was going out into the road, but I also had a small leak. And this leak was hidden, right? It wasn't present. The water pressure hadn't changed. It was very minor. Actually, what they determined was it was a 0.02 in the leak detection. So it was very, very low. So it was very low and small. But it had probably been going on for about 6 weeks. And the thing that stood out to me about this leak is the exact same thing. When we're working with athletes, parents don't understand that imbalances are present even though there are no symptoms. It's hidden. And so without going through this detection process of knowing the athlete's data, of tracking how their muscle output, force output is on a weekly and monthly basis, we don't know. So that translates into all of a sudden the athletes just run, they cut, no one hit them, or they just throw, and all of a sudden they feel pain, and then we go into this uproar like, hey, that's super random, that's super sudden. Nothing is going on, right? They haven't complained about anything, but imbalances are present and they're usually hidden. And the only way we're going to detect them is if we have good data on those athletes and we're constantly seeking to know where imbalances could be.